guys seen the dimensions on this thing? That is a beautiful brook trout. You know, there's not a whole lot else out there in this world that makes me as happy as small alpine stream fishing. And it just so happens that we have a prime time example of a pristine high alpine stream behind us. And we just spent all day, pretty much all day, fishing it. And as I was kind of going through the day, catching fish, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, you know, there's some nuanced things here that if someone has never done this before, they ought to know. I mean, this is kind of different, I should say. It's different. And so this video is going to be a how-to of sorts of how to fish an alpine stream, much like this. And I'm going to be going over the flies, the rods that I use, kind of some of the things like where they sit, what they like to do, the little nuanced things. And for those of you who have not done something like this yet, I think you should put it high, high, high on your bucket list, because I tell you what, it is seriously so fun. And there's places like this all over the Mountain West. Today, I'm in the great state, the colorful Colorado, but they're all over. So before we jump into the actual how-to, I just gotta say, those of you who are watching, I so appreciate the support. And the opportunity to do more stuff like this for you gets bigger the bigger I get. I don't know, the algo is weird. I don't understand it. I just know that the more you like and comment and subscribe, the more it kind of kicks back to me and I get put into the algorithm and introduced to more people. I don't know. But I gotta say, I do appreciate the support. You OG subs, you guys know already. You guys are the freaking best. But with that being said, let's look at the numero uno, that being what flies. You know, I couldn't have picked a better backdrop, huh? This is pretty epic. You probably don't want to watch me talk about stupid stuff. You probably want to see this. Anyway, let's talk stupid stuff. These are my flies. I have rendered everything down to one box. Yes, one box. I usually carry like 7. But in this box, it's pretty standard. We have one side completely devoted to big, bushy dry flies, and another side devoted to, well, bigger dry flies and a healthy assortment of nymphs. As I was walking along the trail today, I saw so much in the way of terrestrials. We're talking ants, caterpillars, grasshoppers, I mean butterfly. There were so many different kinds of critters that trout in places like this hoover up. Just silly, silly, stupid. And then once we got down to the water itself, I was seeing caddis, I was seeing stonefly, I was seeing mayfly, just all sorts in their adult, flying stage. And the flip side to that is that as I was turning over some rocks, going through, big mayflies. So not only do these trout in waters like this have such an abundance of terrestrials and your traditional flies, but I mean there's coming from land, coming from sea. You are going to have so much food available. But the key thing here is, not 2 months ago, I bet you this entire valley was still under snow. I bet you that it just lost the most. I mean, well, no, right there. Okay, hold on. That right there, that is still snowpack from this year. So I sure hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. And if not, I'll spell it out. These fish are opportunists. They don't have time to be picky. They're not like your tailwater junkies or your Spring Creek snobs. No, they gotta eat. And they gotta eat fast, because I bet you in another 3 or even 4 months, snow's gonna be back and it's gonna be packed in tight. These fish aren't gonna have much to eat. So now, summer is the season of plenty, and summer is the best time to go on these alpine adventures. That's when you're gonna have the most success and not run into snow. So I really recommend bringing a large assortment of big bushy dry flies, anything that matches a terrestrial. Today, the thing I caught the most fish on was an ant. Just a very standard ant, and it hoovered up, man. They hoovered it up. So now that we have an idea of the flies and kind of the justification as to why we have the selection we do, let's look at the rod choice for this particular adventure. As far as rod selection goes, we're talking as average as it gets. This is a 9'5" weight. Average, Joe Blow, every American should have this fly rod. It is the most versatile. It gets where you need to go. The reason that I brought this particular 9'5" weight is that it's a 4-piece. It breaks down really small. So when you're packing into a place like a high alpine creek system, you don't have stuff catching as you're backpacking along. It's a real pain in the butt, let me tell you. 2 other reasons why I decided on a 9-foot rod rather than like a shorter 7 or 3-weight, something like that. The first being the long sections. You might not be able to tell from up here, but there's some big sections on this creek. I say high alpine, but for most of you in the Midwest, this is a river. I'm not kidding. For you Western folks, this is a trickle, this is a creek, But I should say the second reason I carry this is for its length. Because I can cast up and above the alders, up and above the willows, and be able to make, kind of more punchy casts without having to worry about hitting stuff on my back cast, be it, weeds, rocks, whatever. This is annoying. So 9'5" weight is, I would say, my go-to. If you wanted to bring a 3, bring a 3. If you wanted to bring a 4, whatever. Once we get going into the 6, 7, 8s, leave those at home. You don't need to bring those. The fish aren't that big. Let's actually take a look now about where these fish might be sitting. Now this might be total anecdotal evidence, but I'm gonna go out on a limb here. If you think about the amount of time in a year where this valley is open, as far as from the air, from the sea, and from the land, we're talking like 4 or 5 months maybe. As the wind and the rain and the cold start to come in and lock up this valley, you're not going to have a whole lot of life, being able to survive. So maybe your more predatory critters, like your mink, your eagles, your osprey. Being in a valley like this, it's not really an option. They can't live here for 4 months and then dip out somewhere else. There's not like resident bald eagles in this valley. I think that with the short growing season comes the benefit of maybe less predators. Because of that, these fish, they are not hugging structure. I caught so many fish today that were sitting in inches of water and would come up and just smack stuff. I mean, it's so out of touch for a lot of anglers to fish open water, or to fish like what you would consider dead water. You're looking for the boulders, you're looking for the logs, you're looking for structure, because I know trout live there. And I'm not saying they don't live here. Places like this, the big pools over a boulder, yeah, I caught some nice fish there. But in general, a lot of my fish were coming from inconspicuous riffles. We're talking anywhere from 2 feet to 6 inches. They were coming up and smacking stuff. So they sit in all different types of water and are very eager to take that dry fly. And I should also note, if one comes up and punches it once, do not be afraid to give it a couple more casts in there and really test their patience. Because there's a couple times where I had one hit, had it hit again, and then on the 3rd one, that's when I got him. But that is basically where these fish are sitting. They're not selective. They're going to be all over the watershed. So don't rule out any of the water you see. You guys seeing this sunset? This is absolutely incredible. High alpine streams, man. Come for the views, stay for the fish. Trademark that, somebody, please. But seriously, I think it's important to note, before you try something like this for the first time, do your due diligence. Plan accordingly, pack right, and prep. I'm talking physical, mental, know where you're going, and have your body conditioned to not only your pack, but also the weight and everything that comes along with it. This kind of activity can be uncomfortable based on the miles and the kind of the grime you got to go through, but seriously, this view is incredible. Those fish were 10 out of 10s. I mean, they were seriously gems. Non-native gems, shout out my brook trout boys, little eastern eastern transplants. We can relate on that, you know what I mean? We're both posers in a very strange land. But I hope this helped. That's just kind of some of the things I came up with as I was, fishing this valley this afternoon. I was like, man, that'd be something I bet someone wouldn't think about, or this would be a good thing to think about, or. So Let me know down below. What do you guys think? Do you guys do this sort of stuff? I'd love to hear from you. Where you go, what you do, how you do it. Because at the end of the day, it's fly fishing, ladies and gentlemen. It is build your own adventure. You could bring a 7-weight out here or a trout spay and be spaying it, 7-inch brookies. Be my guest. I don't think I'd do that, but you get what I'm saying. It's a build your own adventure thing. I hope if any information in this video helps, that's a big dub for me. So hey, we'll end with that. But as this sun is getting low to the sky, I think I need to hightail it to my tent before the bears get after me, because they're crawling over these parts. They're crawling. Oh my Lanta, folks. But yeah, thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, howdy there. I guess if you're seeing this, that means you've made it to the end of the video. And if you made it to the end, watch it all the way through, all I gotta say is thank you so much for your support. It seriously means the world. And if you are binging all the fall season content, if you are just so dialed in on the FAS, whatever it is, go check out the Discord, go check out the Instagram. I know you hear me saying that. I know you can scroll through it, but I'm serious. I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna put it right here. It is poppin'. We've got pictures and videos from adventures like I'm on right now, which you'll see later. And then on the Discord, dude, the Discord is so much fun. We got this fly of the month contest going on, and every month it gets better and better and better, and people are making some damn crispy flies. And I got to give a quick shout out to this month's winner. That crispy boy is so freaking money. I would eat that any day of the week. So folks, as always, I just gotta say thank you so much for your support. I know I try and say it as much as I can, but for real, from my hungry stomach to your home, thank you so much. And yeah, I hope wherever you end up, whatever you're doing, hope you're keeping those feet in the water. And until next time, I have to finish this food. No, tight lines.